Electricast.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
I know it's been a long time, but welcome to MTP Boston. This is your first time listening to us. We thank y'all for tuning in during this holiday season. Personally, I'm thankful to be back. It's been a long month for me, but I'm Rayshawn Buchanan. I'm here with my guy, Mike Marcangelo, man. But, we're here to talk all things Celtics. They have been rolling. We're now about a quarter into the season. They're 18 games in. They're now 15-3. They've won 6 games in a row. So, how are you feeling about their performance so far?
I mean, you can't look at this performance through 18 games and be anything but happy and impressed if you're a Celtics fan. But before I get into it, it's really good to have you back, Honky.
Yes.
But I think Jayson Tatum is still on that tear for MVP. He's averaging close to 28, 8 rebounds and 6 assists. So that's something special. But now to be 15-3 and get KP back early, right? I know we'll talk more about that, but this team, Kata has already filled in so nicely throughout this entirety of the season. I think JB looks great. Tatum looks great. You keep seeing Payton Pritchard stepping up. So I am Mr. Negative. I don't know that I can find negative about the Celtics this season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they have been amazing. And, obviously, we were in college when they won. Well, I was about to come in. He was already at Dean. I was on my way to Dean when they won in 2008. And, if you remember, when they came back that following season, I think they were 27-2 to start the year and had won 19 in a row. So it was very evident that championship had brought a newfound confidence. And they was like, look, it don't matter who's in front of us. It don't matter, what the odds are. We are, not, a team, but we're the team. And, we're seeing that now come to fruition with this current Celtics team. So I love what I've seen from JB. Tatum's been killing it. There's still been some nights where, the shot hasn't been falling, but, he's done what you and many others have been asking him to do for a number of years. And it's like, hey, if the shot's not falling, can you still rebound? Can you still assist? Can you defend? And he's doing all of that at a high level right now. So I love what I'm seeing from Tatum in that regard. They also, you get what you get from the stock exchange, as Derrick's wife's father called Drew and Derrick last season. So, yeah, they're clicking really at all cylinders, man. And, Joe's gotten better, but the thing I want to touch on, we didn't talk about this when we met earlier about what we were going to discuss, the player development for guys that are like the 9 through 15. So, the Jaden Springers, the Jordan Walshes, the House, those guys, right? Those guys were undrafted or second round, level picks. And for them to come in, like Jordan Walsh is not a full, he's not a full rotation guy yet, but you're seeing a certain sense, this is why they got him. The block shot the other night, the nice dunk that he had, and you're like, oh, okay, you're seeing something where he can be a guy that can help out later on down the road or something could happen. Obviously, it would look different if, guys get hurt. He might get more of a, increased role. But yeah, their player development has been awesome. And again,
but you were even looking at and calling out for that, not this past summer league, but 2 summer leagues ago. When they drafted him, these are the things to look up for. And I think we've had some time here. I think under Brad, when he's leading the team the way that he is, the player development is getting exponentially better, right?
Mhm.
Because you saw a lot of Danny's guys. If they weren't a top 10 pick, they weren't really like they were falling by the wayside. They would have flash in the pan type of games,
Yep.
but I think like, and again, you know more about Kada than I do, like
Mhm.
historically about like where he's from,
Yeah.
when we took him. But the fact of the matter is that nobody really knew who he was this summer,
Mhm.
and he is. I would argue he's been a really integral part of this team, especially with KP being out. And
Mhm.
you haven't really missed a beat with him. He's
Right.
he's not his shooting percentages are phenomenal. He's just like Rob,
Mhm.
right? He's,
Yep.
like Time Lord. Like he's gonna be shooting like 88% from the field because he only shoots from 5 feet away. But
Right. Right.
he's been a rim protector too, and that's exactly what you need.
Yeah. Because I go back and forth with Kid because I'm like, offensively, he's gotten so much better from last year to this year, right? And just for those that didn't know about Cater's backstory, like so I think from Portugal, if I'm not mistaken, but the Kings had took a flyer on him a few years back, I think in 2020 or 2021. So he was either an unsigned free agent or he was a second round pick. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know those that listen to this may have the fact check there. So chime in on that when this drops. But he gets here, signs here. I don't think he was on Exhibit 10 like Lonnie Walker was this year, but I just think that they just came in and said, "Hey, let's see what you can do." And but where he came in is basically the fourth center because he was behind, Porzingis, Al, and then Luke. For him to grow the way that he's grown in a year and a half is really, it's a testament, like to what Brad and them are doing down there. So, I love it. Once again, he's good at the rim, but there's still times where he needs to be more aware of what's going on behind him. Teams are able to kind of do what they want down low sometimes because he's so focused on the perimeter. So I just want him to be a little bit more alert because I think that's the next step of his game. And then once again, if he was like that, then he would be a top tier, center. So
Right.
there's a reason why he's a development guy, right? But that's clearly his next step, like I said, because he's a decent passer. The best part of his game is definitely rebounding. Like he got 9 rebounds the other night. Like he definitely is a really good rebounder. And then, like you said, he gets the I call it the garbage baskets, right? Like, oh, it's like okay, they're throwing 2 at the JB would dump it off. He'll dunk it, get a quick 2 points there. So yeah, I love it. Like I said, between him, like I said, we'll see for Springer, Jordan Walsh. I hope that they continue to grow because, like I said, at some point with them reaching that second apron, that tax bill, they're going to need those guys to be key components.
Yep.
If you end up losing a Holiday or White, not because of a trade, but maybe because they're retired or whatever it may be. So I'm excited. But they've been killing it, man. And I can't speak enough to how great they look. And I was saying, once again, we're in the Thanksgiving season, and I'm thankful that we have a team that we can actually watch.
Yep.
and be
Well,
and be
I mean,
successful.
listen, he's not the second coming of KG, right? He's searching the
Right,
imagination,
right,
right?
exactly.
But if it looks like at the rate that he's developing, you may have answered the what happens after Al question with the combination of Cornette and Kada, right?
Right,
And that's
right.
you're going to miss the shooting, obviously, from the perimeter, but
Mhm.
Kada might make millions of dollars for himself making shots that Ben Simmons can't, except for one game. So, like, if that's what he's going to do, I'm
Right,
happy for it.
right. No, that's that's true. And one guy we didn't bring up was Tillman either. I mean, I know he's kind of got lost in the rotation, but he's had a really good week or so as well. He should be the leader or front runner for the Al replacement. He should be in his style of play. They clearly committed to him in that locker room because, like I said, for him to come back during free agency where he could have signed elsewhere for a little bit more money, he comes back here, knew what his role was going to be, right? Because LA was like, oh, you're going to start, 20 games in a row. It was like, hey, you're still going to be that 9 through 11 guy, but just like he did in the finals, Dallas is going on a run. JB finds him in the corner. He gets the corner 3. That changes the game in that moment. So that's all it takes, right? We don't need him to be a guy that's going to get you 15. And he's had that in a playoff game. I know he did really well against LA in the first round a couple of years ago. So he does have that in him, but he's just not going to have that type of role here in Boston, at least for the immediate future. But yeah, They've done everything right when it comes to roster moves. And like I said, I'm just glad that, we get to see them on a nightly basis because I was talking to somebody in my group chat earlier and it was like, man, could you imagine had they not won, how things would have looked? And then eventually they would have had to get rid of the Jays. 'Cause I think Rick would have got annoyed enough that eventually he would have moved off from one of them. And it
Yeah.
just would have
Or
been,
Wick's daddy.
exactly right. Exactly. Would have moved on from one of them. And it's just like, then we're back at square one. And it's like, nah. So
Right.
I'm thankful that they found a way to break through because now that answers that question of can they win? Can they do this? Can they do that? But we've seen if they can. So
A quick question. I want to kind of go, I want to go a little rogue here and shoot for a second. Payton Pritchard. I
yes.
love what I'm seeing from him.
Yep.
I think he's getting exponentially better.
Yep.
Is he the next version of Avery Bradley? And what I mean by that is that we overvalue, or another team overvalues his importance on a great team, and it goes somewhere else, and he doesn't turn out to be what we thought he was going to be.
Um, yeah, so when Avery Bradley went to Detroit, I remember myself and many Celtics fans were pissed about that, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like this guy was one of the best on-ball defenders, and he was. I think you could say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Like he was one of the best on-ball defenders that league has seen in some time at that time. He goes to Detroit, the role isn't as defined. They really weren't in a great situation when he got traded here from here. And we ended up getting Marcus Morris Sr. back in the deal. So which is what they needed badly at that time, was
Yep.
a stretch four at that time. Because you were losing Kelly Olynyk as well to Miami in free agency. So I get that, but it's possible. But I think because Payton Pritchard's best ability is his shot making, that might be able to translate anywhere he goes. I think we would see things look a little different for him if he became a starter elsewhere. Because I can see another team in a few years saying, well, if he was doing this off the bench at Boston, like, if we gave him 30 minutes a night, he'd get us 21, 6 and 5. And that could very well be true. That would be going into his like age 30 season. So I don't know how that would look, him playing elsewhere. But I hope that he's a lifelong Celtic. To me, he reminds me of, and it's funny because he's the one that drafted him, but to me, he's the new age Danny Ainge, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So if people forget because we didn't see it in his prime, but he's exactly what Danny Ainge was. He's competitive with Danny, all that, in my opinion.
Listen, 100%. The reason why I asked that question is because in this era, I wouldn't era anymore. Our era was like late 90s to 2010s, right?
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of people just settle, not settle, but just become okay with their role as you will be the sixth man of the year on a championship contender every single year.
Right.
That you are. They want to be a starter.
Right.
And more often than not, like we've seen it happen, they're not starters. They're not. Their production, their minutes go up, their production really doesn't.
I mean, look at guys like J.R. Smith, another one. J.R. Smith was a problem, for many years. But his best year came in New York when he averaged 18 a night off the bench and won 6 Man of the Year. Kenny Smith said it best a long time ago on Inside NBA. And side note, I'm glad that show was brought back because they couldn't lose it. When he said everybody in the NBA has been a star at some point. Everyone in the NBA has been a star at some point, whether it's high school, college, overseas. So when you come into the NBA structure, certain guys that were killing overseas or killing in college, killing in high school may not be into that role in the NBA. So everyone can't be a LeBron, can't be a Harden, can't be a KD, can't be a Westbrook. So you have to finish the role that fits the team the best so that you guys can be successful. And truth be told, that, remember a couple years ago, Payton Pritchard was still in that same way. Remember, he goes on that podcast. I forget what show it was, but he goes on a podcast and said, oh, like, I just want to play more. And, but once again, it was now looking back in that hindsight is always 2020. I get it, right? When you know and feel in your heart that you have put in the work and you can contribute to a team on a nightly basis, especially the team that drafted you and supposedly is supposed to believe in you, right? You say, well, damn, like, well, if y'all not rocking with me, let me go and kill it somewhere else. So I'm sure now with him being a few years older, now a champion, getting a second deal, here in Boston. I'm sure now he's looking back and say, thank God I'm not the GM and thank God I just play on the court because it worked out better than he could ever expect it, right? Because putting up 23 in Detroit and you going 14 and 68 as opposed to you putting up 13 here, and you'll forever be known for that game 5 shot at the buzzer. And that essentially won the finals. But
Right.
he hit that shot, the game was over. You know what I'm saying?
It's over.
So you're now in the folklore. You're in that Johnny Damon category. You're in that Mark Bellhorn category. You're in that Bobby Kilty category. But that's a name drop for you there. Like you're in that Shane Victorino category. You're in that category now. So people are gonna forever remember you as someone that did that helped bring the championship here to Boston. So and that to me that should always outweigh, excuse me. That should always outweigh going somewhere else and
Yeah.
being a mediocre player, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. It's one thing to gripe about wanting more minutes when you're averaging 12 or 13 minutes a game and you think that you deserve more. But now that you're averaging the last 2 seasons like 25 minutes a game, and you're seeing like 14 to 16 points a game from him,
Mhm.
like that's who he is,
Yeah.
and
No.
that's a great place to be to have it in a 6-man who can hit any shot from any part of the court whenever you need him to.
Right. But speaking of a great place to be, the curveball is back. And I'm talking about Kristaps Porzingis. Man, before we get into the analysis, and this is just a fan perspective. This shit is different with him out there. It's like, excuse me, it's just different. Like it's funny because they played Cleveland last Tuesday, and I was running late. I was running late to work, and I actually seen him downtown, and he was going by near Raising Cane's, and I was like, oh, what's up, man? And he actually remembered because I'm like, he had shown me his card during the finals, which the car is phenomenal. I won't put out there what type of car he has, but it's amazing. But yeah, I seen him walk around with no lip, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I didn't think he'd be walking this nice, but I just put it in the back of my head. Like, I wasn't going to be, I wish I could have been Shams or Woj. Like, I could have been like, hey, he's coming back and he looks good. But I should have known then when I seen him walking that nicely with no extra support. It was just, he was walking with, what was it? He was walking with somebody. He was walking with somebody. And yeah, I was like, okay, like, cool. Like, I was like, I said, hope to see you soon, brother. He was like, yeah, man, we'll see you again. And bam, next week, on a random Monday, we're just sitting there, in math school, and we're talking, and we just say, oh, okay, he's back tonight. Whoa, okay, so because literally that everyone got into the building like on time because they knew that he was going to be playing. So I'm thankful for him. But once again, this is another chance for me to give you your flowers. Once again, we have said this many times on the show, but I'll say it again. Me and a few others on the show thought it was a pipe dream.
Like, turns out it was a pipe bomb.
Pipe bomb, pipe dream, whatever. Like pipe bomb to bring him here, and he was like, "Hey, like, why not make that happen?" I'm just like, "There's no way they bring him the Boston." Like, I was like, they don't make moves like that. So I was like, historically, that's once again not a prediction. It's a slaughter.
Yeah.
And and that's the big tease because we got something else coming for y'all real soon. But it's just, I'm like, oh, so listen, the floor is yours, man. Like I say, he came back Monday night, obviously in a big win. So just how did you feel he looked, and just how do you want them to manage his return back to the court?
Listen, I was shocked at how good he looked and how effortless he was moving. I think he played like 20, 24 minutes, 23 minutes, something like that, and he dropped 16 points. And you're right, it is different. He opens up the entire court when he's there.
Yeah.
Like, he makes life so much easier for the Jays, and it's evident. They shot 50% from the field and 43% from three.
Yeah.
22 fucking threes that night. I mean, and the Clippers, call what you want. They were 11-7 coming into that.
Yeah,
night?
no, they came in. They came
fine.
in having to roll themselves. They're a good team. Good team.
And they got waxed by 32 points.
Like honestly, and this is like, and I'm like I said, for those that's watching on YouTube and you can even hear it on the audio, like I'm at a loss of words. Like it was unbelievable just how quickly it flipped. Right. So just want to add context. At the end of one, it was 27-20. right? Kind of going back and forth. You're like, okay, like, it's gonna be one of those nights because Harden they had a little bit early, and Derrick Jones Jr. hit a couple of shots. Like, okay, like he was probably feeling mad about the finals, but he was in Dallas last year, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be one of those nights because they won 5 in a row, we didn't won 5 in a row. Something had to give, and then the second quarter came, and oh my god, they go like 12 or 15 or 12 or 16 from three in the second quarter. In the second quarter, not for the game, not wait, not a game, right? Not a game, not a game. In the second quarter, I said, "Are you serious?" Like, and that started with the guy we just talked about a few minutes ago on the show with Payton Pritchard, right?
Yeah.
And then, so then they scored 51 points in the second quarter.
In a quarter, dude.
That's fucking insane. That's insane. So the game was essentially over. Then obviously, third quarter happens, and James Harden does what he does. Step back three. And I'm like, oh, I said, this dude's not about to get 20 in the quarter because he's still that talented. People can say what he want about his game and him. Like, the dude, when he wants to, can get 20, 25 in the quarter. We haven't seen as much because he's gotten older, but that dude is still elite when he wants to be. And they were making a run. And you know what happens? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm losing my shit because I'm pissed on level 4 because I'm just like, I don't want to be here more longer than I should be. This game should be over. And what do? Right? Porzingis gets the ball, boom, gets fouled, hit a couple free throws. He comes down, Harden's on him. That's a mismatch every single time. Gets another one, 4 points in a row. They come back down, make a stop, give it back to Porzingis. He catches it, up fake, Zubac, goes to the cup, dunks it. And I'm just like, that's the game. And that's because, once again, when you have someone that you can just throw it into and say, okay, Tatum and Brown, you may not have it right now. Okay, number eight, take us there. And that's what he's able to do. So,
Yep.
But I'm going to bring it back to you because, like I said, we didn't touch on this, and I'll give my answer once you're done. But just like, how did he came back on a Monday? Obviously, they don't play again to Friday night with the NBA Cup, and we'll talk about that shortly. But how do you want to see them manage the injury? Because obviously, they're already 18 games in, so there's 60. Well, now it will be 63 games left in the regular season. So how do you want to see them manage that injury going forward?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, I don't think that we ever need in the regular season to see him play more than 30, 32 minutes. You don't need it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to have him play, between 25 to 30 minutes a night.
Mhm.
Take some time off for Al, like keep him rested, healthy.
Yep.
God forbid for the playoffs.
Mhm.
But nothing. We just won a championship, right? He just won his first championship. The knock on him always, even by people like me, was that he can never stay healthy in the regular season. Fuck that noise. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It doesn't matter. Just be healthy for the postseason. That's
Right.
all we need you for. So
Right.
they should use him for the remainder of the season. Like I said, 25 to 30 minutes a night. There's
Mhm.
no need for him to ever do more than 30 because in the playoffs we're gonna need him for 35, 40.
Right. Right. Exactly. And he clearly would love to play 35 minutes. I just
Don't let him.
seeing, yeah, but no. I was saying, but seeing just how he moves around the court, and I was able to see some practices last year. Like, he wants to be out there. So I want to tell the fans that, once again, you'll always get a different perspective from me because I'm actually there at the arena. Sometimes I get a chance to kind of peek behind the veil, so to speak. He wants to play, y'all. So don't ever think it's something where it's like, oh, he's trying to say. No, he wants to be out there. If anything, is them saying, hey, let's show tonight, let's whatever. He's good. He wants to be out there. He wants to play. They all do, honestly. Pritchard, Tatum, Brown. The only one that's resigned to what their plan is for him is Horford. Like, Horford want to be out there too, but once again, you're 38, bro. Like, just relax, catch a vibe. And he's another one that looks great. He's looked great, with the rest. And I think he should look good on Friday night against Chicago because he's been out since Sunday. So I love how they've managed, Horford as well. But yeah, but I'm with you. Like, he shouldn't play back to back. So once again, that's not a knock on Embiid. But like I said, I'm just decided to put that out there. Like, it's like 63 games left. Like, if you could get him for like 52 of those, 52 out of 63, because hopefully there's some games that he just have to play because they've already had like a seed locked up. And I've said this to you before, and I'll say this again because this is my motto. I know you've gone on them about them being at home. and rightfully so, because they need to be better at home. They were a lot better at last year's playoffs, but I've seen enough from this core, even pre Drew Holiday and Porzingis. I fully trust them on the road. I've seen it.
Yes.
So I don't if they would have dropped to a 2 seed or a 3 seed because Cleveland and like another team would just started to just catch fire, I fully believe they can go in anyone's arena and get a game that they need. That they swept Indiana, and Indiana, we closed out Cleveland at home, but they won. They won both in Miami when they won. So I'm like, I have no, I have no doubt that they could go into anyone's arena. What First Cousins say, walk in your shop, take over your shop. Like I firmly believe that they can do that in anyone's arena. So they've been road dogs for a long time. So I'm good. I'm good with that. So
Yeah, our biggest knock on them wasn't that they were losing games on the road that they shouldn't be losing. It was that they were losing games at home to teams that they shouldn't be
right,
losing.
correct. Yeah. No facts. And I mean, like I said, they rectified that to an extent last year for sure. Like I said, they closed out the Cleveland series at home. They closed out obviously the finals at home. And once again, the shout out to the fans. The fans, y'all been bringing it every night, and I think that y'all felt that last year, and y'all was mad about a lot of things leaving the arena on certain nights. There was a little bit of the little annoyance. I think that night that Golden State came in here and won, but it's like they once again, anytime they've lost a quote unquote big game right now with this first iteration, which I was messaging you last year. I said they've responded, and they have. They just wanted they want to throw. So I'm like, I don't worry about that anymore. That's why I'm like, outbursts won't be the same. Like unless it's in the playoffs, and it's just like, but the regular season, unless they lost like 10 in a row, which like I said that's not happening unless it would be injury ridden. I don't have any like big worries on the regular season outside of them like doing stuff in the paint. You got to do better in the paint. That's my only real critique at them. And I want them to score from every level. Once again, I've said it on the show a million times. Score from all 3 levels. Everything can be a corner 3 and a layup. Corner 3s above the break 3s, fine. But you got to do 15, 17, 19, 19, 17, 15. Like that's one of the oldest drills in the book. That's what they should be focusing on, because JB is like another DeMar DeRozan. He's not as good as DeRozan for the mid range, but he's a mid range killer.
Yeah, but that mid range jumper, like that turnaround jumper that he always hits in the mid range, like that's his shot. That is his shot.
It is. And I've said this before. Like I don't think he's giving him credit to it, but I will, because the moves looks just like him. Gordon Hayward taught him that early in his career here. He may not ever give credit. Maybe they've had some beef on the side, but when you look at how he does that spin move in the lane and that right to left, that was Gordon Hayward's signature shot before he got hurt. So I'm positive that they were working on that, and JB just mastered it. And it looks amazing, from that. So we'll leave that there. So they're still in the NBA Cup. I think you and I were on the show last year. We were saying go for it or whatever. I think they're 2-1 in the Cup. Their next opponent is going to be the Chicago Bulls. So that's kind of ironic, because last year they had to play against Chicago in order to run up the score, in order to at least have a shot, but ended up falling short to Indiana. So, how do you want to see this unfold? Would you rather them prioritize the rights to not go out there and play, or do you want them to avenge them coming short last year, if possible?
I think you got to approach this now, obviously a little bit differently than the way I talked about it last year, because I said last year this team felt like someone that needed to raise a trophy, right? Understand what it felt like. They proved me wrong, because they ended up holding up the most important trophy at the end. Right. I think they have to approach every game like they're obviously, like, this is so cliche, like they want to win it. But I would just caution the coaching staff: don't expel any extra effort to win a game in the NBA Cup, because you have. I'll use Porzingis as an example. He is the worst kind of person in this situation, because he will give it all. He wants to be on the court every minute of every game. So he would sacrifice the remainder of the season to win a game.
Right.
So don't let him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're better than the Bulls. Listen, Cleveland. Cleveland's 1-1 in the Cup. We are the one behind their 17-1 right now as well. Right. So
Yep.
You got not like just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Like you
Yep.
have literally nothing to worry about. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're in second in the league or if you're in fourth in the conference. Who the fuck cares? Because at the end of the day, you can beat all those teams.
Right.
Just beat them when it matters, and that's April, May, and June.
No, facts. I don't know. I think Joe was sending a different message than we are.
I know he is.
I think they're saying, hey, we getting everything this year. Like, we're not losing. Like, it's like if we can win it, like we're getting everything. And I'm honestly, I'm cool with that. The biggest hope as we're recording this is that Atlanta loses, because if Atlanta loses, regardless of how much they lose by, we just have to beat Chicago. The point differential thing won't matter. So if you just beat Chicago, I think you're in. So like,
as long as we beat them by more than, well, you're right, because they're
that's what I'm saying. If Atlanta loses, whatever, because they beat us. If Atlanta loses, it won't matter how much we beat Chicago by. As long as they win, they'll advance to the next part. So I'm fine with that. Like I said, we'll see what happens as we record this. But yeah, I mean, honestly, hey, go for it. If you feel like it's there for the taking, like, hey, why not? Obviously, the Lakers were the first to get it last year. To me, it's fitting for us to be the next team to get that. Because Lakers and Celtics have the most titles of every any franchise in basketball. So I'd welcome it. I thought it'd be cool. It also would give me a week off of TD. I'm like, cool. Let's do it, because the Bruins will be out of they're on the road too at that time. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, because if they lose, I think they'll have some games scheduled here. So money wise it'd be cool, but I'm like, I'd rather be on my nice couch chilling or doing another show with y'all. So I'll be
yeah. No, I mean, but it's
right.
I don't like it. I thought when they first announced this a couple years ago, or last year, that I was going to hate it. I don't. It does add something to what otherwise are meaningless games in November.
Right. Exactly.
But like, and it was fun because last year when the Pacers beat us, like, I think the Celtics took that personally because they played their asses off against them every game for the remainder of the year and then playoffs.
Yep. Well, people forget. I mean, that the first game against them last year wasn't an NBA Cup game, but they beat them by 50 here at TD.
Yep.
And I think Indiana also took that for them. They were damn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be this easy. So I love how personal each team took it, and they took it personal for the rest of the year. And once again, I'll say I'm on record. You're on record, I believe. Indiana gave us the hardest series last playoff run, even though they ended up losing Halliburton after game 2. Like, they gave us the hardest time. They played us the hardest. So to me, I'm cool with how that turned out, obviously. But yeah, it's funny they're taking. I feel like they're taking a step back a little bit this year. They've had some injuries, but it's like some guys that wasn't there last year are starting to step up, but they haven't gotten their chemistry back the way they had it at times last year. But needless to say, like I said, listen, if you can go out there, go win it. Like I said, I'm not gonna be mad if they go out there gunning for it. But like I said, just don't lose yourself in the moment.
Right.
Where's Eminem? So just don't lose yourself in the moment, and play hard. But like I said, don't risk it all. For a pre-Christmas game. So that would do it for our Celtics talk. So for Mike Marcangelo, I'm Hollywood Rayshawn and Buchanan. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's none. Nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go. Let's go. Get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost.
I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it. Electrocast. Electrocast.